Hey, I'm Matt Burton with SandFlippers. Today I'm breaking down two land deals that looked really good at first glance until I pulled them up on ID.LAND. Used some of my favorite overlay features on there. I discovered one was sitting in a high-risk Type A floodplain. The other one was almost directly under high-voltage power lines. Before we dive in, if you want my full breakdown on how I find undervalued land without mailers, without all the marketing spend, get my free tax deed masterclass. The link's right down there. All right, let's jump in. It's hard not to get your heart broken in this business when you're flipping land. You see pictures that look really good, but you have to remember to use layers. In my favorite tool, ID.LAND, I'm going to show you two properties again that looked great at first until I checked them out, and they were pretty much complete disasters. So let's take a look at this first property. Again, we see over 2.5 acres, well actually 2.25 acres, so nice chunk of land with great road access right here. I even got a street view, and that's a deal that I also have with myself, is always have street view, because we never look at these properties when we buy them in person. So we rely on, what can happen to land, right? If it's not like a house, buying a house where you haven't seen it, you always want to, of course, look at a structure. But when you're just buying land, you just want to know, is this flat? Is it buildable? Picture was taken not too long ago. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. So the price was right. I'm seeing power nearby. So far I'm happy until I use, again, overlays. Just little tip to always remember to use the FEMA floodplain overlay. And this was pretty much a deal breaker right there, but then I go up here and I'm looking for other structures. So I'm like, okay, I have bought property in floodplains, but when I see houses that are in the floodplain, and quite a few of them, or one or two of them, I'm like, okay, well, people are still buying these properties, they're still building on them, so I'm looking for another structure, and I do find one on the same road up the street. Problem is that, yes, they've got a much better improved, looks like a dirt road that runs, off the main road up there. So they're actually accessing their property from the back side of it. So I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe this isn't a deal breaker, but always remember to turn on one more water overlay, which is wetlands. And this is where it really is the deal breaker for me, because now you've got a Type A floodplain up here. Not good for insurance, not good for permits, not good for resale value. And then I'm thinking, I could probably talk myself into it if the price was right. But then you see that there's a stream that runs through here, a little river, whatever you want to call it. And then you go up to that other property that we were looking at, and it goes through the floodplain sign. So you can see, okay, well, they're fine back here, right? That's not the luxury that this property has. So it is deal breaker. Let me show you the next property. It has what we like to see, of course, is the road access, and it's a big property. It's 8 acres. I prefer on ID.LAND to change this to high-res aerial, get a little bit better. Then you kind of say, and again, you're always asking yourself in this business, what's wrong with the property? Just always ask yourself that first, and every once in a while, nothing's wrong with it, and you get hopefully you get a great deal on it, and you buy it, and you flip it. That is the business model. But again, most of the properties that you get under contract or that you're looking at in a tax deed sale, there's going to be something wrong with it. You just got to get used to that. It's a numbers game. So you can see, a little telltale sign. You see these big shadows, kind of like you're looking at like Star Wars, the Snow Walkers or whatever they had those things called. You're like, okay, something's going on down there. So again, the tool tip of the day here on this video is just to always use as many of these overlays. I'm just showing you the most popular ones I use. On the last one, it was the water, FEMA, and wetlands. This time we didn't have that issue. I'll save a little time and just show you. No floodplain issue here. When it's just all in that color, that's not a problem. And I went down and did the same thing on wetlands, just like we did on the last property. So there's a little bit of a stream that runs through, the front corner and the back side, but that's not a big deal for me. I don't really care about that. That might actually be a selling point for some people. A little stream on the property, or a seasonal stream. So the deal breaker for me was the transmission lines. So we kind of see the clue there, but once we click that, you can see you've got major high voltage transmission lines. Why it matters, obviously the buyer pool is going to shrink significantly. There's the visuals, the noise, that buzzing sound, so resale issues. Transmission lines aren't always a deal breaker if they're just on the back side of the property and they're far away. You know, and I could almost talk myself into it until I did a street view on this one. And here's the street view. And you can just see, you know, again, I'm sure there's a buyer out there if you get a great price on that property, but you got to be prepared to sit on it for a while, and you've got to give that buyer a great discount. So again, just a little mini teaching moment here. Land deals seem perfect, often hide these problems, and that's why ID.LAND is one of my favorite tools that I'm showcasing today. It saves me from wasting time, most importantly time, money of course, and brain power. I hope you picked up a tip or trick.